Okay, question 8. Yolanda and Emir set up a gardening business together. They decide to calculate the charge for the time they spend on a gardening job using the following method. Okay, so this is what they use to charge people, okay, when they do work. It says calculate the charge for a gardening job that takes 2¼ hours. Okay, so to start with, the first bullet point, it says start with a standard charge of £15. Okay, so it's £15 just for starting the job. Okay, obviously they've got equipment to take care of and to pay for and so on, so that's the sort of starting price that they're going to use to cover sort of equipment and things like that. Then it says add a fee of £10 for every complete hour worked. And of course, because it's 2¼ hours, they've completed 2 full hours. Alright, so when we work out that fee there, okay, it will be £10 times 2 hours. Okay, so 10 times 2, £20. Then it says add an additional fee for every for £20 for every additional minute worked. Now there's an extra quarter of an hour, which of course is 15 minutes. Okay, so that will be 20p for every 15 minutes. So for every minute, sorry. So 20p times 15 will give you the total there. Now, when you work this out, of course, 2 times 15 is 30. Add the 0, so you get 300. That there is 300p, of course. Okay, so because we multiply 20p, haven't we? To change that then to pounds, 300p divide by 100, yeah? Of course, that's £3, isn't it? Okay, so £3 there for the extra 15 minutes. Then it says multiply the total charge so far by 2. So what I need to do, of course, is to work out what the total charge so far is. So we had £15 to start, then we had £20, then we had £3. So add them up. That comes to £38. Okay. Now the fourth bullet point says multiply the total charge by 2. So we need to do 2 times £38. Okay. And you know, if you do 2 times 30 is 60, and 2 times 8 is 16. Add them together, £76. That equals the final charge. Part B. Let's have a look what it says here. The fourth bullet point in calculating the charge reads multiply the total charge so far by 2. Why do you think this is included in Emir and Yolanda's method for calculating the charge for gardening? Well, I looked at this and I thought, well, there must be a reason why they multiply by 2. And then, of course, I can see there's 2 of them. Yeah, there's 2 of them who run this business. So they're both going to be working, aren't they, throughout the time that they're there. So they both need to get paid, okay, for their work. So that's why we multiply them by 2. Okay, so that's the reason. Okay, because there are 2 of them. Okay, they need to factor this into the costing. Okay, because ultimately the person they're working for will get 2 people working for them instead of 1. Okay, write a formula for working out the final charge, T pounds, for gardening that takes H hours and M minutes. Now we're back to doing a formula, okay, which we've seen before. We've substituted into formulas and so on, but instead of substituting into formulas now, we actually have to create a formula. The final charge will be T for H hours and M minutes. Now, of course, we can compare this to the original situation we had. Okay, if we take the first bullet point, okay, of course, first bullet point still applies. There's a £15 charge, okay, so we're going to have £15 there, okay. Then, if we look at the second bullet point, we multiplied £10 by the number of hours worked. Now in this case, it'll be £10 times the number of hours worked, which they've given the letter H, yeah? Okay, for the general formula. Letter H. Over here, we times it by 2, didn't we? Because there was 2 hours they worked. But here, for the general formula, you're timesing it by H. Okay, and then the third bullet point, add an additional 20 pence for every minute worked. Well, here we did 20 pence, didn't we, times 15, because there were 15 minutes extra. Here we're going to do 20 pence times M. Yeah? Now, I followed that, haven't I, from the first part. What you can do now, obviously we need to put this in one line, so we have a formula for it. But of course in the formula, we don't really want to have pound signs and so on, right? We don't want to have things like that in there. So £15, we'll just write as 15, okay? 10 times H, and there's a pound sign, well we'll just write that as 10H, okay? Because 10 times H is 10H, we don't need the pound sign there. Now here you need to be careful because it's 20 pence, okay, and that's no good to us, isn't it? Because in the question they want the final charge in pounds, so we need to change this, okay? Now if you think about it, 20 pence in a shop would be written like this, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's what you'd see in a shop for 20 pence in terms of pounds, you'd see that. So we then put that for M, right? So then to get the total then, we'd add them together, okay? So we'd have 15 plus 10H plus 0.20M, okay? But don't forget as well, there was another bullet point, wasn't it, that said multiply the total charge by 2. So what we need to do is put a bracket around there and chuck 2 in the front. And we've got our formula, okay? That will give us all the marks. And we can leave it like that. Part C, it says, Yolanda notices that there is a problem with the method for calculating the charge. They spent 2 hours on gardening for Mrs. Rees and 1 hour and 55 minutes gardening for Mrs. Elmander. Mr. Rees paid less than Elmander. Explain why this happens. Well, of course, if you think about this carefully, explain why this happens. Well, didn't we work out earlier on that 15 minutes worked out to be £3? Okay, we worked that out earlier, didn't we? So 15 minutes is £3. 1 hour would be 4 lots of that, so you get £12. Okay? Now that is more than the hourly rate, isn't it? So by charging per minute, okay, for an hour, it would cost more. Okay, it would cost more based on paying per hourly rate. So for 55 minutes, if you think about it, while 1 hour is £12, that 55 minutes is just 5 minutes less. But if each minute is 20 pence, 5 minutes will be £1. So you just take £1 off, it'll be £11. So yeah, so that's why she'd actually be charged more. So there's a problem with that formula, isn't it?